Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is Supercoach Challenges, and today we are doing the round 15 review, and it was a good round for us. We thought it would be a lot of teams for sure this week. I've actually seen a lot of scores in the 17, 1800s, and we were able to get a 2094, which topped us into the 3000 ranking for round 15 and also into the top 100,000, not only the top 100,000, the top 95,000 for season rank. And the first time I feel like there is a possibility we could start moving up a little bit more quickly. Now, I think that I'm trying to figure out where the 50,000th ranking is at, but that was kind of the aim. I don't know if we can get there, but we have some good money, we have some good players to bring in, and we've got quite a good lineup going on. And it could be interesting to see if we can get there. So, without further ado, welcome back, and let's get into this team. So, it was a good week, as we said, and the defense really just went absolutely. I mean, like, look at the five here. I mean, except for Lloyd, 132, 111, 149, 133, and a 141 from Day. All we had that was kind of a downer was Lloyd. I guess there's a few other players that are coming. We could have kept Naish, Wanganeen, Malira, who a lot of teams are now keeping, which is really annoying. That probably the round we traded him out, he started to go really well. But you know what? You can't always pick those things, and sometimes it's a bit of timing. We'd be able to time some players. But yeah, great scoring here this week from the back line. Even the midfield was great. I mean, still had a 97, which wasn't, it's good for him. It's really, really good for him at the moment. So we'll take that. And we did get the Gulden VC, as you can see. So I thought we didn't have Dunkley, which is what most people would have been going for. And I was always on Gulden. Like, that's the thing. I knew he was going to be low VC. And my thinking was that if we didn't hit Gulden, Laird was going to be a safe captain. He was going to be decent no matter what. So I thought, Gulden was going to be probably have a chance at having a real ceiling game, which he did. And if I could go back, I would obviously change that in my main team, but I didn't. And I got the VC in here, which was great. And we got that big score. I mean, as you can see, the ruck kind of let us down. Witts and Darcy just had really downish weeks. Which is interesting for Darcy because he's very close to Gordon's price, now. But it seems like watching Fremantle that Luke Jackson is actually playing really, really well there. And I would not be surprised if Darcy has moved on to Geelong at the end of the year, because it is seemingly like something that could happen with Jackson playing so well. And looking but he does look really good up in the forward line and like swapping with Darcy. So maybe they do just keep Darcy. I don't know. Would be interesting to see what they do. I think they are paying Jackson a lot, so you'd think they'd want to probably move Darcy because he'll want a bit of money as well. Then we had the forward line, so we brought in Cameron and Benny Keys, 119. Don't worry about the tag on Dacos, boys, because Keys. He had 78% CPAs, which we love to see. And it just honestly looked like he wasn't necessarily playing a tagging role. He's kind of more trying to get in and under. I think the Crows may have gone into it as watching as a supporter. It was kind of like they went into it trying to maybe just beat the midfield rather than trying to, tag Dacos out. Just let him run. And I guess it didn't really work for the first half, but the second half they were really able to get on top. Maybe a bit unlucky in the end, but those things happen. That's footy. But otherwise, really happy with the Keys score, happy with the Cameron score, and Windhager was obviously a little bit of a letdown, but those things happen, don't they? So if we optimize this week, and this is where it gets a little bit more, I guess, difficult because. What's going on with Clayton Oliver is a mystery to everyone. There was theories that he was caught up with the drug testing and that going wrong. There was theories that everyone's theory was going to be back early and he hasn't. So be interesting to see what happens next week because everyone's saying it's a 4-week mandatory ban and he should be back next week. But if it is because of the drug ban, he'd be back after this week. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes back. Melbourne keeps saying it's a hammy, but yeah, very interesting to hear those rumors. I you have to sit there and think that Clary, he wouldn't be the type to go around doing that. Like he wouldn't want to put his Brownlow and Jeopardy like that. Because this has been a real Brownlow year for him. It's too bad that he has copped this injury. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. So, but anyway, we've got the full team on now. So what we're going to do is I think we're going to move a few of these guys to the forward line. So, and it was really disappointing from Humphrey, actually. I kind of missed him. But yeah, that was really disappointing from him. If we just go the 3-2-1 quickly, I think that we're going to go for Gulden will be the 3 vote. Just spectacular score, and especially with the VC. Then we're going to give Will Day because it was a real bounce back game after a few low weeks. I mean, 4 or 5 in a row, he's finally gone 100 and 141. Seemingly with Sicily's out, it's freeing him up, so that's good. And then Dawson can be the 1 vote. He's very good. Big game for him in his 100th and played really, really well. Could have been such a massive score. I think he was on like 156 with, 18, 17 minutes left in the last quarter. He was just on fire, this man. So, Humphrey can come up here and Fife can go on for now. Actually, Fife can switch with Roberts and Humphrey can come on board here for Fife. So, yeah, we're in a really good position here because as you can see, we've got 3 defenders are set. The forward line, I mean, pretty much except Fife. So Fife and Humphrey. So we've really got 2 positions that need upgrading. And we have 700k to do it, which is beautiful because that's going to be plenty. So Humphrey has to go. They've decided to settle him back into this forward role, which just doesn't work. For Humphrey's scoring style for Supercoach, I'm not sure why. He was playing really well, and I guess they won last week, but you could not help but think maybe if he was in there against Carlton, they might have been able to arrest the momentum that was going on a little bit. But anyway, because he always just seems to pop up and get a hard disposal or a hard goal out of nowhere, which is really good for them. But we're kind of put in this little bit of tough position because I'm not really sure where I want to go. I was thinking about going a little bit potty, but these guys and looking at the midfielders and their averaging, it's just kind of hard to see. I'd love to get Oliver, but you have to wait another week. So it's kind of like, do I just get one player in now, maybe loot with Windhager and someone, and then get him in next? I'm not sure. It's a really hard decision. I'd like to get Clary. I think I worked out I could go something like I could go Ford and Humphrey and get Petrarca and Oliver and still leave a little bit of money left over, which would be very, very nice. And we put this here and then we go Oliver. And that would give us a really, really good side. Thing is, we're doing this is like, there's money considerations for me is probably the thing. Especially because Oliver, you could probably wait nearly 2 weeks on. Even if he comes back and plays, you could wait another week with that higher break even. So yeah, kind of an interesting one here with Oliver. And another week out is just an easy predicament. Dunkley 700k kind of is annoying because I probably would have gone him and Petrarca pretty easily and just left the money down, especially because we can pretty well cover, I think. With Jessa, Day, etc. So if we got an extra defender, it's kind of a little bit helpful here. Because if we get a defender, we kind of got this switch through here, which helps us cover the back line. And we're going to have Fife and Windhager on the bench, so we can push Day back here to cover anyone who's injured, which would be nice. I love Jimmy Sicily, but he's got another 2 weeks. So the annoying thing is we're timing well with money, but a lot of these players aren't aligning with that timing. So it's really annoying because Oliver's at least out one more week, and then Sicily's out for another two, and he'd be really nice pod. And it's kind of why I'm like, do I just go a little bit cheaper? Like, do I just skip Petrarca and then maybe leave a little bit of money here to maybe upgrade, a five when he tops out and get a Sicily in, and then play like a or Dawson in midfield and or something like that. Yeah, just considerations to be had, and push like a Steele to the bench, and then play Steele as that looping defender with midfielder with Day or something like that. Like, so many considerations to have. Like, we're probably going to miss out Dunkley, which is really annoying. So, yes. Only other player I've really considered is Merritt, but I'm still a little bit worried about Merritt with Parish back. So that kind of makes him hard to go for as well, although that 5 round is nice. He did go 126 in with Parish, but I think they do have some hard games coming up. Port Adelaide, even Adelaide's not going to be easy. And then Geelong, that's not a great 3-game run. And then after that, the Dogs, I mean, it opens back up with Sydney, West Coast, and North GWS. Like, that's probably where you'd like to have them. But these next 3 feel like they're going to be rough for Merritt. So it's really hard. It's a really hard decision. I would honestly like to just hold forward for now and just play Keys here, hold forward, and why does it have to be so annoying? Right, that's there. Can we put that down? No. What the fuck's going on? Why can't I sub you up there? God, the Supercoach thing is annoying. So let's just go Humphrey because he's going to lose money. That's coming. And the question is, do I want a defender or do I want a forward? Mid, sorry. I'm thinking a defender, and the reason being is because then that gives us that switch through there, which is very nice. And I'm thinking defender we go for. I would like Dan Houston as a pod. I just hate his history. His history is horrible. He's always found a way to just put in a score like this. But this year's been very nice. I'm just worried that Port drop off and then he drops off, and it's just not great. Then again, he's probably the right age profile to be peaking at school right now. Caleb Daniel would be another nice pod, but like you can probably get a little bit more upside in Dan Houston at the moment. Doc's there. Doc is actually very interesting as well. Been playing very well. I guess there's the injury issues with him. I don't trust what Ridley's doing. As someone who started him this year in my main team, I just don't trust what Ridley's doing. Yeah, and it's been really annoying because he's been scoring so well since he was injured. And I don't know what happened to Brad Scott. Where is Brad? Yes, Brad Scott. After that injury, but oh god, why couldn't he have done that for the start of the season? He'd been an absolute keeper and would have been probably over 600k if he had him in this position. Instead, he wasn't playing there, and we had to suffer through that first half of the year. So thank you for that. Well, it feels like the only decision then is we go with something. I mean, Houston's as much. So we'll go Houston, I reckon. This is a risky one, and I'm probably going to change it because it just doesn't feel right, does it? Just doesn't feel right. Like just feels like a real weak mid. Can we switch this up so we somehow? Oh, I reckon this is how we do it. Yes, there we go. And then there we go. And then we can get our midfielder. Nice. So maybe we just go Petrarca. Petrarca's here. What else do we have? Dunkley's too expensive. Butters, also one of those up and down players. Cray, kind of interesting. He's had actually a nice 3-rounder, 5-rounder, sorry, 119. I did not realize Royal Ed's 5 rounds actually really, really good as well. Because we got Butters, Oliver, Nick Martin. What a guy. Even Lou Parker. I thought about Lou Parker. These last finishing picks are so hard, aren't they? I think Miller would be a nice spot. 2.7%. 2.7% must be teams that are not active. All right, let's. I just don't like Petrarca because I feel like Oliver comes back and it just wrecks any upside he has. And Zach Merritt, now knowing that he has that bad run, just feels so yuck as well. But good players, they can play through that. And Merritt is captain now, so maybe that is meaning that good things are to come from him. So, not much else here, is there? Okay, let's go Merritt because he is a little bit more of a pod compared to Petrarca. Probably doesn't necessarily have the game-to-game ceiling of Petrarca, but he's a little bit more cheaper as well, so that's a bit of money in hand. And I think this is how we will line up. So I've been able to get that defensive midfielder here, which is great. And what we're going to do, I'm going to put Keys here, stay on. Beautiful. All right, and who are we missing from the mid forward brigade? So it's Cornelio, and maybe no real. I can't really. I can still. I could go like that, couldn't I? Let's have a look at where St Kilda plays. So they played the last game, and Fremantle played this game. So we can loop through 5 by the looks. And we can move Davey here for Windhager. Or can we move Drury? Nah. So we will do that. And that will be our loop. Right. And now we've got freedom of movement between our defense, our forward line, and mid. It looks like a forward mid would be nice to get. But I'm guessing what I'm going to be able to do maybe potentially is move this team around a little bit more again. I mean, we're probably wanting a midfielder either way, and we can probably move some stuff around up above to make this kind of happen, I guess. Because we want to, what we really like to do is trade forward out and then move the mid forward down here, which we could do with Davey actually. And then Steele could come off. But then we'd be looping through Windhager and Fife here every week. So it looks like we're probably going to have to go through a mid forward. Unless we can get a defender down here and get a mid in here, which makes me want to then wait for Oliver. I feel like Oliver's going to be a great pod. But I'll think through that. I could probably use one more trade, just get a bit of DPP in and maybe get a defensive forward shift. Maybe that's what I do instead. Probably could trade down like a forward and then upgrade a Drury. If I traded down a forward to a 102k, that would give me 140k, which would be 510 plus. Yeah, not great, Drury, but probably could push up maybe a Windhager if I needed to. I don't see, the thing is Windhager could lose a spot. Now, thing is, we're going to be going through without either Dunkley, Sicily, or what was his name? Oliver. Like, they're 3. And I'm thinking that Dunkley's probably too far going no matter what, unless he has a real bad game. Sicily's just too late for the cadence of trades, which leaves Oliver next week. So I'm thinking Oliver, and that's kind of like a bit of a pod. Like if Dunkley somehow starts playing bad, then we can hopefully gain some back there. So that's it for the team tonight. Now, what we'll quickly do, and this was a little bit of a long review, mostly because I couldn't pick out of who to finish the team with, actually. But maybe I do just go Dunkley. Maybe that's something I decide. But let's have a look at some of these guys we talked about. So Wanganeen Malira had a 116. So 3-round average at 98. So as we said, these pods were risky, but they're playing quite well. This is, I think the last game he had a 50, 60 though, so you can't really take it. The 3 rounds still 98. I think it was a little bit unlucky because it was a bit wet. So that's good. Fife's probably actually been the worst, but it was the one that most people jumped on. So he did look a lot better last game though. I will say that much, but you cut to 47 and a 75, so that isn't great. Elliot Yeo has been really good, but we always knew that Yeo probably had the scoring potential. So he had a 113 and a 93. So this was another risky pop we said, but actually I think maybe he just had the 93 because I think he was on bye that week. And this was in a game where they got flogged, like everyone saw 200 points, but 200 to 30 or whatever they scored. But Yo's issue was always the injury. Jarman Impey actually has been playing really well. So he scored another 100 on the weekend, 101. So that's really nice. But Gold Coast aren't necessarily the easiest, the worst. But Carlton, GWS, North, Richmond, like that seems like a really nice, even St Kilda, a really nice 5. Collingwood would be a little bit harder, but then, and Dogs in Melbourne. So those 3 aren't the nicest. But then, you know, you're taking 5 out of 9, something like that there. Salem. Salem actually looked really good as well, I thought. I mean, he only scored a 96, but this slowed down in, I think, the third. He was already on like 80 at the 80 or 70 something late at the third. So this kind of slowed down a little bit after that, but good signs, him scoring well against good competition. I mean, like it kind of opens up for Melbourne a little bit here with GWS St Kilda. Brisbane, not the best, but then Adelaide, Richmond, North, Carlton, and Hawthorn Sydney. Like from here on, it's quite a nice run. I mean, Adelaide could be a little bit hard, but could mean the Bulls down in their back line a bit. The same with Brayshaw. Brayshaw scored quite similar to Ron Brayshaw brother. Scored quite similar as well with a 8. So not exactly what you want, but as we said, these are risky pods. And the last one, and probably the least thrilling of them, but he did score an 80 this week, was Owens. So Owens, and he's going up money, so I guess, yeah, and he's got West Coast this week, which should be great. He scored an 80 last round after going a 65, where we thought he might have gone a bit better, but that was that wet game where a lot of them, you know, mid-type players kind of scored badly. So you can forgive him a little bit for that. So anyway, that's the risky pod. So most of them have actually been half decent. I think Mitch Owens and Fife have probably been the least good, with Impey the best probably of those, and you're close second with Wanganeen Malira third. So anyway, that is it for the video. Speaking of VCC options, I'd probably be looking at this week. If you have Neil, I'll probably be going Neil. But if you have Neil or Dunkley, that's going to be great against Richmond. They always let midfielders score well, so I'd probably be going that into like a lead. Or Dawson. You could potentially skip the first game and go a VC on Laird or Dawson into like a Bond plays at the same time actually, so that's not great. But and the rest of the matchups aren't extremely good. Maybe Petrarca in that Sunday game. West Coast St Kilda doesn't feel like anyone could go real big that most people have. Like Sinclair doesn't seem like someone you really want to captain in that last game. And yeah, it just feels like a bad week for the Freo boys as well. So I'd probably be looking at probably trying to get it out the way early and just going VC Dunkley / Neil into a lead or Dawson for this week. But anyway, that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe. As you can see, 95K, we're climbing, baby. And we're gonna get to that 50K, I hope. No, well, you know what? We should probably have a lot better team than a lot of the teams at this rank, hopefully. So hopefully we can get there. Maybe we might have to make an adjustment in the rucks, but hopefully not. I think it was just a down week for both of them. So if you enjoyed the video, leave us a like, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.